Any excuse you make to neglect the responsibility of pursuing your own personal development is going to render you an inferior hominid. Now, yesterday we got 1 hour of sleep, 2 cups of coffee, 2 protein bars, and then we went to the gym and we squatted 6 plates. So we put 6 plates and then we squat that shit. That's 585 pounds with 1 hour of sleep, 2 protein bars, and 2 cups of coffee. So if you're making an excuse to not go to the gym, if you say you don't have enough time, when you have time, you always have the same amount of time every day. And matter of fact, you are occupying time and space any fucking way. So you're occupying time and space, and then you say you have no time, but the only time you actually don't have time is when you're fucking dead. So if you're not in the casket, if you're not alive, then you have time. Because there's people with 1 hour of sleep. So I got 1 hour of sleep, 2 cups of coffee, 2 protein bars, and we went to the gym. And then we squatted 6 plates, which is 585 pounds. So you see that development program that I assigned to you, that you invested into to develop yourself to a higher level, a higher echelon, to a higher level of conduct, to amplify yourself into a better manner, to conduct yourself to higher standards instead of being an excuse-making bitch. You actually get the fuck up and go get shit done. We have all these excuse-making pieces of shit that get nowhere, but be the individual to look in that accountability mirror and say, I'm not gonna, this is a non-negotiable for me. This is gonna make me a better person. I'm going to level up as an individual in some metric of my existence, and therefore I will not excuse myself from not enabling myself to develop myself in a metric of existence. Because every time you neglect the responsibility of responding efficiently to what the fuck you need to do to become better as a fucking man, you're gonna remain that same low-level piece of shit. And every time you miss is every time I hit, and you remain that same low-level bitch. So you either gonna lock the fuck in on your life, and you're gonna lock in on the program, link in the description. You're gonna join the community. You're gonna apply the information, because remember, you're not gonna just accumulate high-level metaphysical materials to construct your mind to develop yourself into a more sophisticated intellectual individual who's actually thoroughly able to be a competent instead of an incompetent, docile, subordinate slave. An individual who's going to develop his own personal brand, and we're going to take it to the next level with your personal brand. And you're going to look on my website, and we got the self-development program is where you're going to start off, where we get rid of the addictions. We build your body so you're not some weak, fat piece of shit. And then when you're done developing your body in a better image of your better self, then we can move on to how you're going to make money online and escape the rat race. But if you're going to be a low-level piece of shit that can't even hit the gym, then you're definitely not going to be able to manage people that are actively trying to combat that lowest version of themselves. And if you can't defeat that version for yourself, then you're definitely not going to be able to provide them help. So if you want to get out of that hell, you're going to have to look at who you are. You're going to look at your habits, because your habits are what you inhabit in your mind. And when you execute them externally, your habits are creating your habitat. And, that goes for, if you are drinking, if you are smoking, if you are actively self-depleted, if you're a self-depleting organism, if you're not fit, if you're not a fucking basic functioning organism, so you're failing at being an organism on Earth. So when we look at a squirrel, when we look at a fucking monkey or a chimpanzee, and that monkey is fit and sober, and you're failing at being fit and sober, that means that monkey or chimpanzee is literally superior to you and as the existential conduit. So your conduct is what's going to refer to your mind who you are. Because if you're a drinker, if you're a smoker, if you're fat as fuck, you're going to be insecure. If you're a docile, infertile, skinny bitch, your mind is going to register that. And when you go to the place where you want to go and there's social events, or you want to express yourself to the maximum, but all you do is express yourself to the bare fucking minimum, It's because your mind knows you aren't the person to walk in that bitch like that motherfucking beast. And if you're not gonna be a beast in life, you're gonna remain whatever the fuck that shit is, and you're gonna remain the bottom barrel least. So you're gonna look in the mirror and you're gonna max the fuck out, and you're gonna drop the bottle, you're gonna drop the smoke, you're gonna up your standards, and then you're gonna standardize who you're going to become. Because remember that your mind is going to register your habits, which are creating your habitat. But not only your habits is what you inhabit. So when you feel insecure, it's because you're inhabiting insecure habits. So when you pick up the bottle, you just register to your mind that you're a reality-scaping bitch. When you pick up the smoke and when you pick up all this shit that's poisoning yourself, you're registering to your mind that you're a self-depleting organism and you're failing at being a fucking primate. So before we even look at the human species, are you even developed enough to call yourself a human? Or have you been de-evolving into an inferior hominoid? All right, because this is what the fuck we're dealing with in society. We have individuals who think they're right, but they're really stupid as fuck. And matter of fact, they should get down and kiss the boot, because all they do is just passively kill themselves. And remember, every fucking tension that is derived from a motivation, within that motivation are reasons, and within those reasons are emotional triggers. So every action that you do, so when you pick up the bottle, when you pick up the smoke, when you pick up the fucking video game because you don't want to develop yourself and you're a lazy dumb fuck, well, you have to understand that there's a motivation behind that, and you're motivated to be a bitch. So instead of motivating yourself to be a bitch, because remember, your habits are going to compound over time. And if you're a self-degrading piece of shit, then you're going to degrade through time. So you're going to look in the mirror, the accountability mirror, and you're gonna look at your fucking stomach instead of not recognize the fact that you're a fat bitch, and you're gonna hit the gym and you're gonna max the fuck out. And if you're too much of a bitch to follow through, then again, you're gonna bend down and kiss the fucking shoe. Because when we look at society, we have individuals who are sophisticated and developed and thoroughly, able to use their mind to produce specific outcomes, to be productive, to have proclivities, to move themselves in determined directions, to enforce instead of impede their growth. So, if you're not operating from that state of, I need to get shit done, I need more, like I like, fuck all this shit, fuck all these fake pieces of shit, psychological mask wearing, bitches, I need more in life. I can't be whatever the fuck that shit is in the mirror. I need more. I need so much that I'm gonna work so hard that, the limit is infinity. Everyone's like, what's the limit? What's the limit? It's like, the limit is the fucking casket. The fuck are you talking about a limit? You are the limit, and if you unlimit yourself, now there is no limitation, and now you can actually maximize yourself in every metric of existence, and you can tear through the layers of the fabrics of space and time and carve out your destiny and create that reality in the best image of your best self. Before we even get into reality synthesis and thought crystallization and, becoming that individual you need to be, you need to look at your mind, because again, your external habitat is going to reflect your internal habitat, and your internal habitat is predicated by your internal habitants, and your internal habitants are the habits that you are actively indulging in every day. So if you want to have a better habitat, you need to have better inhabitants, and those inhabitants should be producing instead of reducing your fucking lifespan. You should be optimized to be healthy and wealthy, and not whatever the fuck that fucking lazy concoction of absolute failure is. Now, the definition of success is to not be a failure. And to not be a failure is to thrive for that personal excellence, to make every move on the board, to make sure that you can put points on the board and hit a score, instead of be a low-level depleting self-fucking debilitating primate that deserves scored. Now, you're either gonna, again, look in that mirror, realize that, and recognize that, you're a flawed individual, you're very fucking weak, you're the worst image of a man, and you really disgrace God with your very existence. and then you could actually understand you're a bitch, and now that you comprehend you're a bitch, you can make moves to not be a bitch and remain a bitch. Or you can, be comfortable with who you are because you feel like you're not a bitch. But remember that everyone is perceiving you and is aware of your existence. And when you can't even take off your shirt because you're really just a lazy piece of shit, well, everyone's picking up on that, and we can sense the insecurity, especially when you have massive comprehension, especially when you're massively competent, especially when you're just super fucking smart compared to the rest of these fucking primates that dwell on Earth that can't even sustain being an organism. Like, dude, you eat too much food, stop eating food. If you can't stop eating food, well, guess what? You're failing as an organism, and the truth hurts, and you're a fragmented version of yourself. And so the hammer of truth is going to fragment you even more if you don't decide to get on your shit. So, like, I'm just holding you accountable because this is my fucking job, right? While you go to work and be a subordinate slave, all I gotta do is tell these motherfuckers how to be a human, and I get paid. And if you're not being that best version of you, then you're really just a bitch. So don't be a bitch, and look in that accountability mirror, reflect upon yourself, and ensure that you're the individual to help yourself instead of, reducing and minimizing yourself to this fucking infertile fucking bitch. You're so fucking weak. I just want the potential energy to get shit done is massively increasing. Yesterday, 1 hour in the fucking of sleep, 1 hour of sleep in the gym, squatting 6 plates. We're not even gonna go into the type of individual who's mentally there. Like, you have to understand, to be an individual who got 1 hour of sleep, 2 protein bars, and 2 cups of coffees, went into the gym and squatted 585 pounds. You know the mental power that takes? That takes a next level of fucking mastery, self-mastery. You couldn't hit the gym, let alone if you had energy in your body. You're too lazy, you're dumb as fuck. Matter of fact, you're inferior as fuck. So lock in on your life or remain an inferior hominoid. And you only live once. So get on the development program and let's maximize yourself in every metric of existence instead of you impeding your growth and remaining the fucking resistance. Peace.